Welcome to this explainer where we are going to break down one of life's most universal and, frankly, rudest awakenings. We are talking about that exact moment you get your very first real paycheck. To help us navigate this whole thing, I want to introduce you to our main character today. Let's call him Alex. So Alex is a new grad who just landed an absolutely amazing new job. After all those late-night study sessions and those really intense interviews, Alex has officially secured the bag. The offer letter is signed, the start date is totally locked in, and the excitement is just through the roof. So Alex sits down and does what literally every single one of us does when we get that offer letter. They do the mental math. The salary is $60,000 a year. You divide that up, and it's a super clean $5,000 a month, which breaks down to exactly $2,500 every 2 weeks. Alex is already living large in their head. They're mapping out budgets, maybe doing some apartment hunting for a slightly nicer place, and probably even browsing online for a little treat-yourself purchase to celebrate. And hey, you can't blame them. $2,500 every couple of weeks feels like a massive amount of freedom. And then, the highly anticipated first payday finally hits. Alex wakes up, grabs their phone, and opens up the banking app to check out that sweet direct deposit notification. But instead of that glorious $2,500 they've been banking on, the screen shows $1,850. Total, complete shock sets in. Alex is just staring at the screen thinking, wait a minute, where on earth did $650 go? Did the HR department make some huge mistake? Do I need to call payroll? Well, nope. Welcome to working in America. Okay, let's dive into this because we are going to solve this mystery line by line, figure out exactly who took Alex's money, and much more importantly, how you can actually keep more of yours. To really ground us here, we first need to clear up two incredibly important terms that are going to dictate your financial life. What Alex was looking at on that shiny offer letter was their gross pay. That's the $2,500. It is the theoretical number you earned on paper before anybody else got their hands on it. But net pay, that $1,850, is your actual take-home pay. It's the money that survives the absolute gauntlet of deductions and actually lands in your checking account. And the reason Alex is missing that $650? Well, it basically comes down to three main culprits: federal taxes, state and local taxes, and payroll taxes. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that we get to meet the absolute most non-negotiable boss of the American pay stub, and that's FICA. This falls right under the payroll taxes category. For almost every single W-2 worker out there, you simply cannot escape FICA, which stands for the Federal Insurance Contributions Act. It's automatically sliced into two very specific pieces. First off, 6.2% of your income goes directly to Social Security, which funds retirement for current seniors. And on top of that, another 1.45% goes to Medicare to help fund healthcare for elderly Americans. Add those up, and you've got a flat 7.65% taken right off the top of your check, literally before regular federal income tax even enters the chat. Once FICA takes its cut, we face the federal income tax. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the most widespread and honestly damaging myths in all of personal finance. So many people are absolutely terrified of getting a raise because they think, oh no, if I enter a higher tax bracket, all of my money suddenly gets taxed at that higher rate and I'll actually end up bringing home less money. That is completely 100% false. The truth is that the U.S. uses what's called a progressive tax bracket system. This means your income is taxed in chunks, not all at once. The absolute easiest way to visualize this progressive system is to just think of your income like water filling up a row of buckets. When you start pouring your salary in, it fills up that very first bucket. That first chunk of money is taxed at a fairly low 10%. Now, once that bucket is totally full, any leftover money spills over into the next bucket, which is taxed at 12%. But here is the kicker. Only the money in that second bucket gets hit with the 12% rate. And as you make more money, it spills into the next bucket at 22%, and so on. So just to ease Alex's mind, as they climb that corporate ladder, only the net new dollars they earn at the top get taxed at the higher rates. You never, ever lose money overall just by moving into a higher bracket. But of course, the government isn't quite done yet. Depending entirely on where Alex actually decided to sign that lease during their apartment hunt, state and local taxes can come in for another huge bite out of the check. Geography plays a massive role in your net pay. For example, if Alex is living in a high-tax state like California or New York, they're looking at losing another 6 to 10% of their income to state taxes. But if Alex took a job in, say, Texas, Florida, or Washington, that state income tax line on the pay stub will literally read a beautiful $0.00. Up to this point, Alex has probably been feeling a little defeated by all these mandatory taxes. But here's the good news. A massive chunk of that missing $650 isn't actually money lost to the government at all. We have to shift our focus to voluntary benefits. These are deductions that Alex actually chose, or at least was automatically enrolled in by their employer. We're talking about things like paying their share of the premium for health, dental, and vision insurance directly out of their paycheck, or deciding to automatically invest 5 or 10% of their salary into a 401k for retirement. Sure, it feels like missing money right now, but it's actually money Alex is spending on themselves before it even hits the bank. So the crucial point is understanding how these voluntary benefits can actually work in your favor, kind of like a financial cheat code. Many of these deductions, like a traditional 401k or a health savings account, are made pre-tax. This means the money is taken out of your gross pay before the IRS even calculates what you owe them. Let's say Alex takes $200 out of that $2,500 gross pay and puts it straight into a 401k. Their taxable income instantly drops. The IRS no longer sees $2,500, they only see $2,300. By choosing to save for their own future, Alex mathematically forces the IRS to take a smaller cut of taxes today. It is an incredibly powerful tool for keep your own wealth. Now, a lot of people try to make themselves feel better about their small paychecks by looking forward to tax season. Getting a massive $3,000 or $4,000 tax refund every spring feels like you just won the lottery, right? But honestly, the reality is far less exciting. That refund is not free money. It literally just means you overpaid your taxes out of every single paycheck. By getting that big check in April, you essentially gave the US government a completely interest-free loan all year long. Think about it. That $3,000 could have been sitting in Alex's bank account earning interest or helping pay rent month by month. Instead, their monthly checks were smaller than they needed to be. Well, let's move to and see how this builds into an actual strategy to take back control. How much federal tax gets withheld from your check isn't just some arbitrary number. It depends entirely on how you filled out your W-4 form when you first got hired. If Alex wants bigger paychecks right now instead of waiting around for a refund, they can actually fix this. Step 1 is simply going online and using the free IRS tax withholding estimator tool. You just plug in your numbers and it tells you exactly what you should be withholding. Step 2 is taking that information and updating your W-4 form with your employer's HR department. This simple adjustment ensures your paychecks perfectly match your actual tax liability, meaning you get to keep your money when you actually earn it. And just like that, Alex's journey goes from complete payday shock to total financial empowerment. Understanding exactly where your money goes, line by single line, isn't just about knowing how to read a document. It is the absolute foundational first step to mastering your personal finances and building long-term wealth. You really can't secure the bag if you don't know who is taking from it. We've covered a ton of ground today, from the non-negotiable group of FICA to the strategic power of pre-tax deductions. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a quick question to reflect on regarding your own financial journey. What surprised you the most on your very first US pay stub?